What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the locker room. I am your host and your favorite Kansas City girl, Kennedy Bright. And as always, what is said in the locker room stays in the locker room. Get your playbooks ready, guys. What is good, rookies? Welcome back to another episode. This week, we're going to do, of course, like a little life update. Where have I been? A little mental health update. But also, I want to talk about just a few things that I've noticed about myself, or maybe someone else who's been feeling like if you deal with like self-sabotage syndrome, or maybe you're one who just like perfectionism, like overthinks, like just all of that, just what I've been feeling and what I've noticed about myself and how I maybe need to settle down because I feel like I'm doing kind of the jacks of all trade and masters of none thing. So that's kind of what I want to talk about this week. At first, I was just going to do a little episode just to give you guys content because I have been gone for the past few weeks, which of course we're going to talk about, and I'm just going to explain that. But I say, you know what, let's talk about a few other things that I've been feeling and noticing about myself. It is the locker room, and if you are new, I create this space being in the around the theme of a locker room because in a locker room is where you're allowed to be vulnerable. Why is it a vulnerable place? Because you're changing. There's usually supposed to be like no phones, no cameras, like you're changing, you're stripping yourself down, you're showering, you're that's what a locker room is, it's a private place. And so I feel like this is the same setting and vibe I want here in my podcast to be able to talk about things and just be real. So let's get into it, y'all. As always, follow us on KC Locker Room Talk on Instagram. We have merch at kclockerroomtalk.com. I'm also working on my new fall back to school collection. So we got some stuff coming. Okay. So first off, I want to give a little update on mental health wise. So back in July, I think I explained to you guys a little bit in the last episode how my doctor went ahead and gave me a new antidepressant, which I like. I'm excited about. It seems to be working, and that's one of the things I want to make sure I'm doing is taking my medication consistently. I feel like that's something that's very taboo, but there's nothing to be ashamed about. So that's something that I definitely am working on, and so far I do think the medicine's working. My Adderall as always works, especially when I take it. I'm able to concentrate more, and just when my medicines work together, it goes really well. So that's a little medicine update. If you follow me on TikTok, then you know I had posted about a situation I had got into with a guy who I definitely saw more as an end game, someone who I saw things going a lot further than even just like where they have been. And one thing I'll say, I don't want to talk like about our situation fully yet, just because like you need time to process. Like you can talk about things later once you're done with it, but I'm still like it's still fresh. It was this month, like everything. And one of the things I want to discuss is I know a lot of times in it's a saying, do things in private, move in private, like all of that. And I totally agree with me because I definitely have experience now in life where there are people who, are preying on my downfall, things like that. So I try not to talk about too much of like my personal life just so I don't feel like they're winning. But at the same time, I think we have to talk about and practice gratitude for when God comes through in those rough times and give him his praise because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to pray in private, but praise him publicly. So Jesus literally talked about that. I don't know what the scripture is, but I learned it when I was a kid about praying on the corner and stuff like that and don't do that, all that. But I do want to talk about gratitude and give him gratitude. So when that situation happened where I found out about him and this other situation with this other girl and all of that, um, like I said, I don't want to go into detail on it on here. It really took a huge toll on me. Like, if you ever had experience where you go through something, right? And you have so much faith, you have so much, like, when I tell you, to me, this person was like in game, everything, like, I was very blindsided by it, caught off guard, confused. It did a lot to me, to like my abandonment issues. It just did a lot. It did a number on Kennedy. Okay, for sure. Emotionally, like I said, when I want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. But it's not that like I don't want to. It's just I haven't even processed it fully yet. But one thing I have processed fully was that night when I saw it, my first thought was like, I like my chest literally hurt, my heart hurt, like I literally thought I was gonna die. Like I was like, I can't get through this. Like I was so confused. Like it was too much. Like that's how you see how like I can't even explain it to you. Like that's how my mind was going. And my only thing was like I just wanted to like shut it off. Right. And I'm laying in the bed and the song I played was I Need You Now. Okay. And if you know that song, it's a Christian, like it's a gospel song. And it's him talking about not another second, another minute, not another hour. He needs God right away. Like that's what the song's about. And I was listening to that, and that was just my first instinct was to put that song on. I told God, I was like, you know how important this relationship is to me. You know what it means. You know what it symbolizes for me. You know how I never saw it ever not being what I thought it was going to be. God, I need you. Like, I can't get through this. I've had a lot of course, like situationships, breakups, like whatever, right? friendships, family, like nothing hurt like this. And I knew for a fact, like, if God was going to show me that he was real, like I needed him in that exact moment because I knew for myself, me as a human person, I couldn't get through with my friends. Like no one, I finally talked to one of my friends about it again, just now. This happened like the first week of August. Like I could not even talk to myself about it. And so I knew for a fact, like it was not going to end well for me, if you know what I'm saying. So I needed God to guide me through it. And I'm laying on the bed, my bed's soaking wet from crying and like the ugly snot cry, and I'm like, God, I need you because right now I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I can't, like, I couldn't. And the thing for me that helped and like meant so much was like, they always say like that shows when you go back to your faith when you're in your darkest times. And I was talked to God and I told him, I was like, I need you to help me get through this because I can't. I cannot do this. I don't know what to do. I can't. This hurts so bad. Like it shouldn't hurt like this and I can't do it. And hours went by and long story short, the next day I kind of felt better, right? And it was weird. And here we are weeks later and I'm still like feeling better. And I finally talked to Kinsey about it and I was like, it's weird, like, I feel better about it, like, it still hurts and all that, but I do not feel how I felt that night, and I can't figure out why, and the only thing is I think it's literally God, like, I think he has shielded that pain that would take over how I operate, okay? Because here's the thing, like, we can have pain, we can go through things. Well, I'll speak for myself. I'm not gonna speak for nobody else. I'm not a doctor. I can go through things and things can hurt me and experience heartbreak and loss and still be able to function daily. But that type of pain that I was in at that moment, I wouldn't be able to function daily. Like I literally want to die because it hurt so bad, right? And you can't tell your friends that or people because people are like, you sound crazy. You want to die over a boy? And it's like, no, 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 you're missing the whole point. It had nothing to do with dying over a boy. It was the pain made me want to die, like the feeling, right? And I didn't have that urge, that feeling anymore. I did a little karaoke with Alexa and I still was sad, but I didn't feel like I didn't want to be alive anymore. Okay. And just watched Vampire Diaries. And the thing I want to say all that for is one of the things I'm grateful for and the gratitude I want to show today is for God listening to me when I really needed him and him helping me. No, he didn't take away the pain. It still hurts, of course, like the situation. I'm still sad about it. I'm still getting through it. I'm still healing and figuring it out and processing why did this happen? Why did he this that? I'm still going through that. But he took away the the very negative, the urge, the bad part. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I needed. And I want to thank him for doing that because I needed him. And I probably also would want to thank my family for being raised in a Christian household and going to church and children's church and all that. Because one of the things I've learned now that I'm older and I think about having kids and stuff, it freaks me out because I don't know where my faith came from. But I want my kids to have the same sense of faith. I've never in my life ever doubted God or ever thought God wasn't real or ever thought Christianity wasn't real, like never in my life. And I've always, for like whatever reason, I've been through a lot in life, but for whatever reason, it's always this thought of like, he's gonna fix it. Like God's gonna fix it. Like it doesn't matter. This is in my life. And so that kind of faith that I have, I pray my kids get. And I thank my family for raising us in a Christian church, a Christian household, because that gave me the stability for in the moments when I was feeling really bad that I didn't know who to talk to. I couldn't talk to no one, but automatically I went to God. And so I hope my kids, whenever they go through things in life, because life happens, that they have that same sense of trust and faithfulness in God to know that they can. So I would thank my family as well, which I don't do a lot of, but I do. So that's some of my gratitude that I want to practice. And that's where I was at first. But the funny thing is, it happened on a Thursday, and then I still posted for you guys that Saturday. So I was able to keep moving, and that was good. But then after that, the next week I got sick. Your girl got COVID. Never have had COVID. I'm vaccinated and I have my booster. Okay. But I did get it. If you don't know, my family is from Mississippi. So my only ones who aren't are me and my siblings and my mom. We were the only ones born here in Kansas City, but my grandparents, my aunts, everybody was born in Mississippi. They all live there. So my grandparents were going back to Mississippi to go see. She's my great grandma's first cousin. So she's like a great 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 cousin or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because she was dying. and they came back and they had COVID and I got exposed and then I got it. So but mine wasn't like bad and all that and stuff. But anyways, so I was sick. So I was like, oh my God, I cannot post. I cannot do anything. I couldn't really think straight. Just watching Vampire Diaries on the couch. That's pretty much it. So that's why I have not been doing any content lately because I was battling that. I'm still, if you kind of can tell, I sound better, but I'm coming through it a little bit. You know, I'm coming through it a little bit. But yeah, so that's why you hadn't gotten any content or anything like that. And honestly, one of the things I had been practicing the past weeks was just how would I want to say it? Um, Small wins. So the fact that I would wake up every day and actually could get out of bed and didn't want to, like die, I was like, wow, this is good. Win. The fact that you're watching binging Vampire Diaries, win. Was I doing my real estate work? No. Was I doing my social media work? No. But the point was like practicing small wins was really helping in these past weeks. And that's something that I am continuing to do. And now I feel like I'm at a point where I felt a little better. And so I'm like, okay, so today we went to go do work, but still being able to practice having discipline, but also giving myself grace in times when like I was sick and your girl needed a break. Okay, she needed a break. But yes, I am feeling a little bit better, but that is the like medical the reason why I have not been posting anything. So I did want to just say that it's just crazy because I've made it through the whole 2 years of the pandemic, never got it. I I don't like no, I don't go anywhere besides when I was in Texas. I would go places and stuff, but like I don't do anything. And that's how I got it. My girl was 91 and thank God she's doing better. She just has like a little bit of like a sore throat still, like a cough or whatever. But that's it. So she also is vaccinated and has both her boosters, but she's still 91. That does not, and she has really bad asthma. Like her asthma is so bad, y'all. Like she has to do breathing treatments like 4 times a day. You see what I'm saying? Like she be wheezing. So, and that's what it messes with COVID. So I'm grateful for that too, that she was able to come out of that and be well. Yeah, so that's another little gratitude that I want to practice. And I think that the biggest thing is being able to practice gratitude even when some situations aren't perfect. And I think the biggest thing for me is I can only let someone use my situation as a weapon against me in a mindset of like, oh, preying on my downfall if I see it as a downfall versus me seeing something that's better than it. So as I said, I finally was kind of getting myself a little bit together this week and I text Kinsey the other day and finally text her back like, hey, update, I'm alive. And one of the messages that she had sent me after when I like let her know what had happened with me and the guy was just the thing she said. It was probably something that I've needed more than anything. And ever since I read it, like this like weight has felt off my shoulders and off my chest. And she has said to me, you two wanted two different things. He wanted this and you wanted this. She was like, and that's not the same thing. So really it's a blessing. And honestly, it wasn't until she said that I really saw it. So for the longest, it's always been this huge like why this happen, kind of thing. But what I couldn't really see fully was like me and him wanted two different things in a relationship. Like, Kinsey said, he wanted a baby and I wanted a family, like a full-blown family, commitment in a family. And with us wanting two things, like I never would have gotten what I wanted. He could, and she said, she's like, he could not give you that. He could not give you what you wanted. But with Kinsey saying that, it really helps me feel a little bit better because I was able to kind of sit there and realize like sometimes in life we have to see things for like literally what they are. And it's not that I lost something. It's not that I lost him to someone or whatever. Like we both wanted two different things and they're like magnets, it's never going to stick together. What I wanted and what he wanted like wasn't the same thing. And so it really started to change how I'm viewing the situation and viewing myself. I'm not seeing it necessarily as a loss anymore. I'm seeing it more as like a this just isn't going to work. And sometimes when things don't work, that doesn't mean that you're a failure or that I failed. It just means that it's just not going to work. That's just how it is. It's oil and water. Things are a loss. Sometimes you didn't lose anything. Sometimes you didn't fail at something. Sometimes some things just don't work because they're not meant to work. So me and the guy, we wanted two completely different things. And I was at a point now where I was okay with giving up what I wanted to be able to have what he wanted. because I didn't want to feel like I failed or didn't want to feel like I lost something, you know? And that's not true. And so, one little gem that I want everyone to know is sometimes just because things don't work out, things aren't a match, it doesn't mean you lost something. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It's just it's set up so that it won't connect. It really helped me kind of see things in a different light, and it made so much more sense. And I think they say like a lot of times I learned this when I went on Kairos in high school, like God uses people to get messages to you. And I think that that was God really trying to explain to me what he wanted me to see from that situation. And from that, him using Kinsey, to talk to me that way, I feel a lot better about the situation for sure. I feel a lot better. I feel like I understand it more now. I feel like I'm not angry anymore towards it. Like I have no hatred towards it. Like it feels so different. Okay, like it feels very different. And especially watching like the Blueface and Christine, I can't say her name, rock drama. If you want to know what the relationship was like, it was like that. Okay. So seeing that it's kind of also been like a little bit of a wake up call because I'm like, wow, okay, this is how things would have been for me. And this is what God was like kind of protecting me from. And people will say all the time, like, girl, it's a blessing. That's a blessing. You guys see that's a blessing. Like you can always say that, right? But I really truly feel like this time it actually was a blessing. And so I have been feeling a little bit better these past days since like I said, read that message from her and stuff. And it's been helping a lot. I've wanted to hone in more on my content because I feel like social media is definitely a very good income for myself. I like talking to everyone. I like filming my life. I like content creation. I like being a videographer, like all that. So of course, like why not, do it for a living? But I've noticed I can become very obsessive over it. Okay. And this is the point that I've realized is the problem is I was doing too much. The saying jack of all trades, master of none. And I was like, what I was doing. I wasn't actually finishing a task, finishing a job. I was moving around, moving around, moving around. I can only speak for myself. And the best way I can get my points across are by using like the examples of like what made me come to this revelation. So let's go into it. When it comes to content that I want to do for this fall, okay, I'm thinking it's football season, right? So I need to explain football to girls, right? So they understand how to follow the game. Then I want to do sports betting now because that's a thing. Let me explain that really well for girls, okay? Next, I want to talk about weekly matchups and things like that. And then I want to do game day outfits. I want to do outfits. I want to do my Amazon storefront. I want to find fits so girls can, like, and that's just some of the ones that I can think of right now off the top of my head, but that's kind of what ends up happening in my mind. I literally just obsess over several different ideas because the thing for me is I love sports content, I love creating content, and I want to be able to. I always said, like, oh, I want to be like a digital magazine, right? If you look at a magazine, it covers a lot of variety of things, right? Covers, your news, your fashion, workouts, like all that. And that's fine, okay? But the thing with me that I've noticed is when it comes to the sports world and my content creation, I get caught into that world of jack of all trades, master of none because I start so many projects and I don't ever finish them because I become so obsessed with like, okay, I need to do this, I need to also do that. Okay, well, how about you get down? And it's a tip that everyone says when you look up stuff about content creation, everything. Get the hang of one thing consistently, and then add something else into it, and I'll tell myself that over and over, and I still go against it, right? And one of the things I've noticed is just I'm doing too much. And the thing is, I do so much that I end up not actually ever executing or putting out any content. Also don't get me started on my digital products. Like I have so much stuff, you guys, that I'm trying to come up with. I just wonder if sometimes you ever feel like you yourself are becoming a jack of all trades, master of none in whatever it is that you do in life. And I feel like that's it for me. One of the things I want to say about that is I want to become consistent in certain areas of my life. Everyone talks about you need to have plans, right, for your life. You need to have plans, you need to have goals and I have those, but my problem is I obsess over them entirely too much. And I've noticed when it comes to my creation of content and where I am in life right now, the reason I'm not further is because I look too far ahead. I have like a 5-year plan, right? From right now to 5 years. But the problem for me is I'm literally sitting here and So, like I said, I wanted to give that update. Right now, I'm at a place where I'm trying to create a routine for myself. I've noticed when it comes to like my content and things, I'm like, I need to vlog, but I don't know how to make my vlogs interesting. I need to do this, and the problem I notice is I don't have routines or structures. I kind of get up every day and I just do whatever. I have no structure, like at all. And one of the things I want to do is work on giving myself routines, sticking to it, and work on having structure in my life because when I have structure, one, I get things done, right? And two, I also can end up, and two, that gives me content, to create. So right now, I just really am working on creating structures and routines for myself, getting back into like trying to get into a healthy diet, eating correctly, and, working on water intake, things like that. Consistently taking my medication and just moving forward in that way. So that way, when my real life is moving forward and my real life is moving in a direction, then that ends up helping me create content. You see what I'm saying? By recording things or whatever the case may be, my vlogs, whatever. So that's just where I'm at right now. But I just want to do this really quick update to check in with you guys because like I said, I feel bad because I haven't posted anything, but I was sick. But I'm getting better. I'm getting through it. I'm just trying to study, move forward, trust in God, honestly, and pray and try to stay out of my head. I've just noticed that this past couple of days, I'm in my head too much, which is a problem, as we all know. I'm in my head too much. I am wanting everything to be perfect, and I'm such a kind of person that it has to be a certain way. The out, you'll never get it, okay? And I think I need to just stick to the smaller few things. So, getting consistent with vlogging and uploading, getting consistent with my podcast, being consistent with just my sports explanation videos, okay? And of course, like my studying and things I need to do for like just my personal life, but being consistent with those things first. And then once those things are just everyday natural, don't even think about them. I'm consistent, I'm, disciplined, then I can add new things, new segments and things to my life, to my content or whatever. So I'm just trying to make sure that I need to practice grounding for sure, staying grounded and focus on right in front of me. I obsess sometimes a little too much of my 5 year plan. I'm the kind of person like I'm obsessing over what kind of mom I'm going to be in 5 years or what kind of wife I'm going to be. And I'm like, Kennedy, like, why am I worried about that right now when literally it's nothing in front of me? You know what I was stressed about today? So I decided I want to when I have a daughter, I want to start a flag football team and I want my daughter, to play flag football and I want to be the coach. And then I'm like, I gotta learn flag football and I gotta make sure that I learn whatever if the rules and stuff are different. Okay, now I gotta also learn how am I gonna teach them how to be great players. Like, why is that on your mind right now, Kennedy? Like it should not be on your mind. It shouldn't. Because even when I have a child, I still have to wait for her to get old enough to even play flag football. You see what I'm saying? So I think way too far ahead and I let the things that are nowhere even in front of me stress me out in my life right now. And so I need to practice grounding. So I'm gonna look up some grounding things and practice staying grounded and just focus on what am I doing literally right now that's gonna make my life better? What am I gonna do like right now? Studying, that's doing that. Content creation, that's doing that. Focusing on those things because y'all, when I tell you I obsess over the future, I do. And so another thing I'm grateful for right now is being able to identify my triggers, being able to identify the things that are causing problems, and journaling has been helping too. Just writing it out, it helps a lot. It's odd, right? You think it wouldn't, but for whatever reason it does. So it's something else I've also been practicing. But yeah, I just want to just check in really quickly with you guys, give you a little update. I do have the episodes that I want to actually record. I'm gonna write out the scripts and stuff, get those prepared. But I'm excited for what's coming. I want to be consistent and I want to stay disciplined with everything. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next episode. Talk to you later. Bye.